So this is a team that will kill the new Apep, but it won't necessarily be very fast. It heavily depends on your relics and your speed tuning. It's also not accessible for all, and neither is Apep, and that's very sad. My relics are barely okay, and my espers for this aren't fully leveled or ascended or resonated, and nor are their skills maxed. So if yours are, the time will be much faster for you. You also need to have insanely strong relics. Mine, however, are not, and I therefore rely on a speed lead. So let's get into the actual result, which, as you can see here, I ran it in 3 minutes and 22, which is not very fast, but this can all scale. The new challenges are the fact that you're restricted to use specific espers. Now, if you haven't pulled any that can apply Diseased, you can't actually beat him, as he will heal up every time that he attacks, and that will just get you nowhere fast. Apep now also applies poison every time he attacks and every time you attack him, which adds up to the insane amounts of damage that is going to be afflicted onto your espers. Now, as an added insult to injury, this dude now also strips your entire team every time he attacks. So the key to beating him is having attackers that are Inferno, so the orange element. The supporters that you use can be Shimmer, but you must bring an esper that applies Diseased. You need a heavy-hitting single-target attacker, and you need to bring an esper that can cleanse your team like Catherine, or even better, can apply those cleanse debuffs back onto Apep, so for example Queen Mother. Now there aren't too many viable espers for applying Diseased. Your number one pick is Atum, and he also afflicts Death Down, which is very important. Now, his Diseased is a passive skill and it cannot be resisted, which makes him so strong. You also have options like Daylon and Kara that I have listed here, but in my opinion, those are not quite as good. Now, the best espers for damage are the Inferno ones, and I would say Ares, Set, and Stuart are probably your best bets. They have single targets, Set has speed lead, and Ares also heals himself. Now, all of them hit hard, and they are of the Inferno variety, so they are the best options, I think. Last but not least, the most viable espers, in my opinion, for cleansing your entire team of poison are Queen Mother, Catherine, and Clara. Now, the reason for that is Queen Mother can cleanse at every turn that she takes, and her last skill can transfer everything she cleanses right back to Apep, which is quite powerful. Now, Catherine can cleanse the entire team, but she doesn't really offer much more than that. And Clara can cleanse a few debuffs, but she also heals the team. So in my opinion, putting Queen Mother and Clara together are the best option to go with here. Now that kind of sums it up. In my opinion though, the changes that have happened now to both Kronos, Apep, and Fafnir are exceedingly horrible in the sense that they are not accessible to players that are new or players that don't have superb relics and the right kind of espers. And I feel like that is the exact opposite that the developers were saying that they wanted to do with this update, which was to have players put together their dream teams. But there is no dream team when you need to have specific espers in order to beat the stages where you can get the relics that you need to beat those stages. Like, that makes no sense.